I, it's so hard to make a snozberry pie that everyone likes.
But they always taste like snozzberries, so what would be the point?
Correct. What if somebody doesn't like the taste of their own snozberries?
Okay, then. Good evening, passengers, and welcome to tonight's episode of Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time. With me here tonight is RandomGreymane.
I mean, you could get the crust right.
Being true to the first part of his name, obviously. And, of course, Sherlock.
Good evening, everybody.
So, gentlemen, how's your week been so far?
I'm just happy that next week is Thanksgiving and I'm only working a single day.
Oh, lucky
I
you.
tried to electrocute myself with my car.
The fuck?
I
thought all you were doing today was compiling fucking your iTunes/Amazon Music library. What the hell?
Living in the Midwest, there are certain things that you do to your vehicles, okay? Because when they get cold, they don't start. Now, you could put a heater in them. You could do all sorts of things. You could park them in a garage if you don't have a garage full of shit, which most people do. Some of the rest of us do a little bit differently, okay? We don't put a heater in it, but we put a battery charger built into the vehicle. Okay, this is actually just fine. People do this all the time. Okay, every single one of my vehicles has a battery charger in it, including my motorcycle. And, which the motorcycle needs a new battery anyway, but that's beside the point. The problem here is that these cords have to come out of somewhere on the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And like with my wife's minivan, it's fine. There's this air hole or whatever the hell it is that's out the front of the lower corner driver's side, okay?
Uh-huh.
And the cord sticks out there and she plugs it in after she, parks when it's cold out and snowing and everything. Mine, it has to come out of the grill. And it flops around in the air.
I see where this is going.
And, it wore the cord through and I didn't notice.
Ooh.
And I went to plug the thing in and it went...
Oh.
Ah!
I need to understand what the big deal about Midwestern winters are, because I live on the side of a mountain where during the winter it can regularly get to the tens and even to the negatives. And I've never had an issue with my car. It's parked outside. I turn it over. Like, the worst that happens is that my car door will freeze shut and I'll have to yank it open. But
okay. What's the lowest negative temperature you've had?
I think we got to -20.
Okay. Regularly here in the Midwest, in the great state of Illinois, we get to -35.
Oh fuck.
All right, so 15 degrees.
Okay.
More.
Now, on top of that, when I bought Zuko, which is the vehicle I'm talking about, I put a gel cell battery in him, okay, because it was a better solution than the other batteries that they had, okay? And gel cell batteries are fine, except that if they're lead acid gel cell, the capacity of them drops off quickly if they're not constantly topped up. So, when it gets cold, all of a sudden your vehicle, and doesn't start. But no, honestly, here we get -35 temperatures, okay, and then you add wind chill on top of that. Okay, so we get wind chill that makes an aggregate temperature that feels like -50.
Okay, so that makes sense to me, because I'm like, it gets really fucking cold over here, and we've never had that issue.
Yeah, it's an entire. You see, you're in mountains. We're in like plains, so there's nothing to really stop the wind.
That comes off of the lakes,
of the lake, or off of like the central plains of the state, or and then add like 4 feet of snow to that, and so it's like you get these wonderful nights, where you come out and you come out the next morning and it's like I could have sworn I had a car. I did that one time. I looked out the back window, and I'm like, I
Where's the
know
car?
where's my neon? Where's my Dodge Neon? It was right there in the center of them. And I had to go and fight my way out of the house and out of the driveway to the end of the driveway and look back because it hadn't covered up the back of the car, but it had completely covered everything else. And it was this green, this green car's ass end sticking out underneath this giant snow pile. So yeah, it was interesting.
At least y'all get snow. I'm sorry to say that even though there are obviously a lot of downsides to having snow, like the black ice and having to melt your car out of a fucking snow pile and having to wait an hour for your car to actually get itself situated before you can go anywhere. I'm sorry, but as a Florida man, I am jealous of anyone that has snow, period.
That will last, if you move to somewhere with snow, that will last about a year.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. Like
you'll move to one place, it'll have snow, and then it'll be like, I hate snow.
Yeah,
I hate snow now.
I mean,
gotta salt the
to be honest,
driveways.
there's a reason that a huge chunk of retirees in Florida are all old folk from the Midwest and
Yes,
Northeast.
absolutely.
It's because they lived their entire lives where it snows on the regular, and they're like, I'm sick of doing this. I'm too old to do this. Fuck it. I'm either going to go to Phoenix or I'm going to Florida.
Well, fuck it. I'm gonna defy convention. I'm gonna go somewhere where there's snow when I retire.
Fine. Feel free.
Just hire somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, there you go.
So before we
Shall we
begin, shall we
get moving on?
Yeah,
Yes, we probably should.
before we begin our show proper, Sherly, you actually dug up something that I did not find during my obligatory search for the news for the past couple weeks, and I figured that it was too good to pass up and that we should talk about it as a sort of bonus article for tonight. The rare bonus article that comes before the actual show. So, Sherlock, take the wheel.
I've got a few things to talk about. One in particular, sorry to get a little political here, but some of the more interesting things that came up over the week. Let's see. The bipartisan infrastructure bill got signed into law. Unfortunately, it's the one that's not very good for the individual citizen. It's great for businesses, but not very good for us.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, baby steps, I guess.
Yeah.
And during the entire thing, Joe Biden kept calling Arizona Senator Kirsten Sinema Kristen Sinema, and that's the worst thing you can call her besides a Democrat.
Oh.
Also, Steve Bannon had turned himself into federal authorities for violation for being held in contempt of Congress. Now, I'm just guessing, but I think Congress is a brand of soap. I mean, have you seen the man? It's kind of nasty.
Oh, man.
And on to the main article tonight. I still have a joke with this one, but on to the main article tonight. Woman in the Bronx Zoo jumps the barrier at the lion exhibit to go dance with roses and toss cash at them. Or as the lion saw it from his perspective, dinner with holding aside a garnish.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
So at 4 p.m. on Thursday, last Thursday, a woman dressed in a red cocktail dress, blonde wig, and a leopard print shawl, holding a bouquet of roses and throwing cash at the resident lion of the Bronx Zoo. One of the resident lions of the Bronx Zoo climbed over the barrier and started dancing, saying the whole incident was recorded on video phone, mostly by her husband, and where she can be heard saying, "I missed him so much," and "King, I love you, I came back for you." The people notified the zoo management, or basically people working there, and they called the police when the NYPD actually has a substation in the Bronx Zoo. However, when they got there, both individuals had disappeared. However, the Bronx Zoo has a zero tolerance policy on this kind of stuff and is trying to track down this person. I should point out that she was in no actual danger. She had crossed the fence line to get into this planted area that is separated from the lion's enclosure by a giant moat, one that they cannot climb. If they were to fall into it, they could get back up to their enclosure, but they can't get up the side of the wall that takes them, that separates the viewing public from the animals themselves.
Mhm.
But she still climbed over the fence barricade that was supposed to keep the public from even getting to the moat. So she was in no real danger. The lion wasn't going to eat her, but the zoo is not happy about this.
I'm going to take the hit for this. You can send your complaint letters to admin@celestiaradio.com. This is a furry that took it way too far.
No, actually,
Stop being this way.
No, Fanny.
Either that or she has been in the cage before, and this is a return trip to her lover.
Here's the thing. The other night, Fanny actually told me the difference between what we know as the furries and what this woman might actually be, a zoophile.
I know the difference. I was making a furry joke. That's why I put out the email address.
I'm just saying, we know the difference.
Yes, we do know the difference.
I just feel sorry for her supposed husband who's there filming.
Yeah,
thing.
That's
maybe he gets off on this. I don't know.
That's the main thing that I wanted to talk about when you initially showed this to us before we hit the record button. Like, what was the conversation that led up to this? Honey, today I want to visit the zoo and I want to put on my best red and leopard skin dress, bring a bouquet of roses and what the fuck ever, and I want to seduce a lion. What did this woman have to do to convince her husband that this was a good idea and to film it?
I don't know. The couple that kinks together stays together, I guess.
I am going to stay silent on some of the kinks I have seen on the internet, and we are going to move on from this because this could be really bad.
I agree. Suffice to say, I think this woman might need help if this was more than a dare that someone put her to.
I guess we'll see. They're going to try and track her down. A couple more pieces of info I came across as well. There was a Reuters poll that went out recently, and it says about 67% of the United States believe that Facebook is ruining society.
No.
To what Mark Zuckerberg replied, well, what do you think about Meta? There was also a tweet that got Elon Musk a bit of attention and a little bit of trouble.
I saw that. I know what you're talking
saying, how he was trying to be irreverent, how he's trying to be concerned about the world, saying, how do we solve child hunger? I will pay anyone this amount of money to solve it. And somebody said, have the billionaires donate $6.6 billion and we can end it right now.
And then there was the fact that he replied to Bernie Sanders.
Right, yes. Bernie Sanders made a comment, and Elon said, "I forget you're even alive sometimes."
Jesus.
Elon Musk is not your friend.
Elon Musk is not your friend.
No. When he goes to space, let him stay there. Anyway,
is it terrible of me to say that I hoped that Jeff had died in that rocket launch?
You're probably not the only one, in all honesty.
I'm trying not to be that person. I'm trying not to say I hope they had died in the rocket launch, or I am glad that they got sick. I'm trying not to be that person. They're making it difficult.
Hell, I'm sure there were just as many people that wished the same thing for William Shatner when he finally got to embrace his Star Trek days as Captain Kirk and finally went to actual space. In the Star Trek jacket, no less.
It's close enough. That's about as close as he's probably going to get. He's 90 years old.
Yeah.
So, and I won't begrudge him that. Okay, I won't.
He's 90? I don't think he was that old.
He's old.
He's fucking old.
Yeah, how old is he? Fucking old. That's how old. We don't need numbers.
Yeah, he's pretty damn old.
Yeah.
The point is I don't begrudge him that. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Okay, and honestly, I hate to admit it, as much as I hate the rich people to space race, I would probably take a trip if it were just offered to me. I
Yeah.
really would. I mean, I just,
Here's a bit of advice for everyone listening, though. If we get to the point where Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos start making plans to launch people to Mars to set up a colony, do not do it, because they will turn you into slaves, because Earth laws do not exist up there. And
Correct.
they're counting on that.
Absolutely.
Anywho, moving swiftly onwards. Welcome to Trademark's Trainwreck, where we talk about all the dumb shit that myself and sometimes my co-hosts find within the course of a couple of weeks or so. We got the softcore material and the hardcore material, and there are musical interludes somewhere in the middle of those, one of which is coming up right now, unless we got anything else to talk about.
No, that's about it from me.
Right then. Well, in that case, we're going to take a quick music break, and we'll be right back with Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time, except when it's cougars getting it on with big cats.
You have to have a schnoz to be able to eat schnozberries?
Well, I think the only person there are a few people I can think of who don't have a schnoz. There's Krillin from Dragon Ball Z, Lord Voldemort.
Welcome back to Trademark's Trainwreck.
The Yuzan Vong from the Star Wars beta canon.
A show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time, except when we're discussing who doesn't have a nose.
No, a schnoz. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm. It's time to start the softcore material for tonight. And I've got one that Sherlock might find amusing.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Now, I am not privy to courtroom cases and what happens in them, but for the most part, they're pretty straightforward and pretty cut and dry. But then sometimes interesting things happen. And no, not like in CSI, where some amazing new evidence just suddenly springs the fuck out of nowhere, or there's a surprise witness or some shit. No, just...
It's more like Law and Order, but yeah, we get your point.
Yeah. There's more happenstance and certain things that happen, because despite the cut and dry nature of courtroom cases, tensions are flaring.
Yes, they are.
It's just a matter of who can control themselves. Case in point.
I've got a story about who couldn't control themselves last week. Hey,
Case in point. Attorney arrested for dropping his pants in courthouse.
Okay.
Prosecution or defense?
Let's take a look. November 11th, 2021. Whoever wrote this, fuck you. It was only a brief transgression, Your Honor. It'll take some time to live down, though.
My jokes were better.
A Pittsburgh attorney was arrested Wednesday after taking his pants off to pass through a courthouse metal detector. Jeffrey Pollock, 59, resorted to dropping his pants out of frustration that they kept triggering the security device. I'm keeping that take, I don't care. This is according to the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office press release. Is that right? Allegheny?
Allegheny.
Well, there's a G in there. Why is the fucking G silent? Anyway.
Because English.
Yeah, because English.
Pollock had arrived at the Family Division Complex for a hearing around 1 p.m., but kept activating the walk-through metal detector. The lawyer attempted to explain to guards that he suspected his suspenders were the culprit, but they weren't buying it. After a heated discussion with guards, Pollock unhooked the suspenders whipped off his trousers and put them in the bin to go through the detector. At this point, Pollock was standing in the middle of the Family Division rotunda, wearing only his shirt and underwear, the sheriff's office said. Deputies alerted to the unusual sight arrived on the scene and took the attorney into custody. Pollock was charged with disorderly conduct and released the same afternoon. Doubtless displeased with the unwanted exposure, Pollock has since hit back at deputies handling of the situation. What they did to me today was not appropriate, and by embarrassing me and sending out a press release, I don't know how that helps anything.
You're the fucker who took his pants off!
If they want to do something, they can change the way people are led into the courthouse. Or you could, I don't know, invest in a belt rather than suspenders. Urkel.
My God, I have got so much to say about this.
Say away.
All right, one of the things, though, is I kind of want to give a little bit of... I do want to defend the attorney a little bit and give the security detail a little bit of shit. Like, guys, he's an attorney. I know you gotta check everything. I do too. It's my job. But, come on.
It's an attorney.
There has to be a level of like understanding here with a certain aspect. Yeah, he could have worn a belt. Maybe he's more comfortable with suspenders. I don't know. And the whole concept of, screening people is that it's not that you're preventing something bad from happening. It's that it's theater, guys. You're giving the public and any would-be potential assailants like the illusion of yeah, we're on top of everything. We're not. Okay? Not giving this as an excuse for anybody to do whatever the fuck they want in a courthouse. We do our jobs, but it's like we can't be everywhere at once. I've always said that if somebody wants to sneak something into that courthouse bad enough, they're going to figure out a way.
Oh, yeah. And I remember the one time that I was on jury duty, and they don't fuck around with checking everything. I brought my own cup of coffee in a metal cup, and they go, "Can I see that substance, sir?" They looked inside to check that it was, not alcohol or some shit.
Or acid.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, the thing is, we don't do that because we have this thing called common sense and, what's the phrase I'm thinking of? Not just common sense, but discretion is basically
Occam's razor.
Yeah, it's just kind of if you're trying hard enough to actually cause somebody to oh my God, it just bothers me so much when security gets that overhyped about stuff. I'm like, guys, you can do your best to prevent something from coming in, but it's better to just be aware that in case something does get in, you're able to respond appropriately. You're never going to stop everything. So stop treating people like everyone's trying to smuggle something in, for fuck's sake. I mean, use your judgment, for Christ's sake. But also to the attorney, you were the one who decided to take off your fucking pants.
Yeah, take off the pants.
You could have just undone your,
the
suspenders.
Yeah. Just take off the suspenders, put them in the bin, and then when it goes through, and then you go through afterwards and nothing happens, you can just go, "See, I told you," and then you can re-clip. Trust me, pulling up your pants when they start falling down takes minimum effort. Just put your hands in your pockets and yoink upwards.
Reminds me, at the same time, I can guarantee you that the officers wouldn't have gotten so irritated if he hadn't gotten so irritated. We had an incident just a little while ago, last week, where guy came in. We're not allowed to ask if people got vaccinated, because even though that doesn't violate HIPAA laws, we still don't want to be, you don't want to be that guy. Line. Yeah. We don't want to be treading that line. So we ask if they haven't had any, symptoms or if they've been exposed to anyone.
Yeah.
And this guy heard the questions before. He was in a rush. but like the guard at the gate at the time didn't like wanted to make absolutely sure because that's his job, and the guy just wouldn't shut up and answer his questions. So the guy's like, "You need to stop, okay, or I'm not letting you in." And they got into a big altercation about it. The guy missed his court date because my officer was like, "I'm not letting you in unless you answer those questions." Man, I answered your questions. Like, no, you didn't. And I had to step outside and back him up and be like, "Look, you need to either calm down and answer his questions, or you're leaving. All right." And it can be either on your own or with our help.
Yeah. It's a simple question.
Some part of me says that maybe just maybe he was beeping because he pissed them off.
We actually cannot control the gate.
No,
the gate is
they
completely
cannot.
independent.
They don't have this magical red button hidden under the desk, while one guy elbows the other in ribs and goes, "Hey, watch this."
No, but it's possible to, stick your foot in there where you've got a buckle while he's walking through.
I actually have done
You
something
can
like
you
that
can
to, like,
do it. You can do it.
yeah,
It's
I actually have done something like that to kind of screw around with little kids sometimes, especially little boys who are kind of being a pain in the butt. Like, parents will put their cell phones on the table, and if they coming through, I'll grab hold of it and like hold it up next to them. Like, it'll beep. I'm like, "Oh, sorry, kid. Let's see how to get back through." Beep, 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 beep. The parents get a chuckle out of it. They think it's funny.
Anywho.
But I could easily see somebody dicking with him because he was an asshole. I really can. So
I'll be honest,
maybe,
man.
but not our.
I'll be honest
to
with you, man. Like, depending on the type, but family law attorneys can be gumbags.
Still, not our place to say.
Correct.
Moving on. It's time to talk about a good old-fashioned bank robbery. Now,
You don't hear about these too often anymore.
Please be a Darth Vader. Please be a Darth Vader. Please be a Darth Vader.
No, it's not. It's not the classic. It's not the unsolved Darth Vader case, Gray. He's not come back.
I'm waiting for somebody to do the exact same thing as him, okay, and get away with it again because it's a massive security hole.
Yeah.
So.
But speaking of coming back, it's not anybody we know, but this person in particular broke one of the cardinal rules of robbing a bank. And that is that you do not strike the same place twice. Thief busted trying to rob same bank 2 days in a row.
Wow, that's ballsy.
Yeah.
Lord. 2 days in a row. I mean, I could see it if it were like a month later or 2 months later or something. But 2 days. Wow.
This is a bit of an older article from October 8th, 2021, but it's still fucking hilarious. Sometimes it really is better to quit while you're ahead. A cocky California bank robber got caught after he returned to extract more loot from the same bank branch he allegedly plundered the day before. Samuel Brown, 33, came unstuck this week when he tried to rob the same Chase Bank in Fountain Valley, 30 miles south of Los Angeles, 2 days in a row. The San Diego resident made off with a large amount of cash after he passed a note demanding money to a teller at a Chase Bank on New Hope Street around 3 p.m. Monday, so say the Fountain Valley Police in a press release. But far from being content with that day's ill-gotten gains, Brown allegedly went back to the bank the very next morning to do it all again. Cops alerted to the robbery arrived around 11:15 a.m. and arrested him without incident. Brown had an outstanding warrant and previous convictions for robbery in San Diego. He was being held on $170,000 bail in Orange County Jail and faces multiple robbery charges.
Oh boy.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
I mean, that's a bold move, Cotton. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
No, it didn't. Why the same bank twice in a row? Like, you understand that when you rob a bank one day, their security will be heightened the fuck up the next day, right?
Well, here's the thing, okay? Other bank robbers have done multiple robberies of the same banks. but not within 24 hours.
No,
Okay.
they tend to space that shit out.
You know, I mean, there was who was the one guy that was a police officer that was flying to like Brazil or something and robbing banks and coming back.
I
This is
don't
years
know.
ago.
That's a new one on me.
I'll have to look it up, but it was one of those things where he would fly to Brazil, rob a bank, okay, and then fly home the same day. You know, but he would hit the same banks over time, okay, but not over 24 hours.
Oh.
Let me guess. I bet you anything. The way they caught him is they found out that this guy had like gone to the currency exchange counters like very frequently over the course of a certain amount of years.
No, it was there was some other thing that put him out. I think it was I think it was spending though. I think it was spending related.
Oh yeah.
Which is always what gets you in trouble. I mean, it's like,
Yep. If you start just blowing massive amount of money on certain things, then everyone starts to question, how'd they get this?
yeah.
How'd you get all that
If you're
money,
gonna do
dude?
that, you take all that money and you go to another country and you live your life in another country for the rest of your days.
Yeah, live in
That's what you
Brazil
do.
for the rest of your life.
That's right.
You love it so much, why don't you stay there?
Well, try not to pick a country you've already stolen in. You know,
Yeah, fair enough.
Just a you know, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
Brazil's
even
not
have.
Brazil's not very kind when it comes to that kind of shit.
No,
Just why?
I'd pick Monaco.
Monaco?
yes, because unaccounted for amounts of money in Monaco go unlooked and unremarked. It's the
They
place
literally
of the rich.
They do not question it. They're like, a rich person, a rich American? Yes, come. You can stay here the rest of your life.
Yep.
We will not question where you got this loose money here.
As long as you give it all to us.
Well, and that's
over
the
the
whole,
course of the rest of your life.
that is actually part of their thing is if you're going to settle there, you have to have a certain amount of capital, okay, because they expect you to put it into their economy, but their economy is like incredibly thickly rich anyway. But yeah, Monaco would be a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that extradition from Monaco is probably pretty tough. The only
It's pretty
one that
hard.
is the only one that would be more difficult because there's no treaty for it, even to this day, is the Philippines. There's no extradition from the Philippines.
Neither in China, and I don't think in Russia either.
No, China has extradition. Okay. Russia doesn't have extradition, but you wouldn't want to take your loose money to Russia anyway. You would get killed. You would get killed. So
moving swiftly onwards to our final softcore article for tonight. Oh boy, this will be interesting. It's drunk. It's Florida, and it comes with Eggrolls.
Of course.
Drunk driver floated Eggroll defense. Tagline: erratic driving blamed on Chinese nosh.
what?
I've heard worse excuses.
I have too, but okay, fine. What are we talking about?
This happened November 15th, 2021, when a Florida woman who was pulled over the day prior claimed that her erratic driving was due to her eating an egg roll while behind the wheel.
That's not an excuse, lady.
No.
Okay. All right. I guess she was thinking that it's the difference between a DUI or a reckless driving. Reckless driving is a very minor thing.
They arrested her on DUI and narcotics possession charges.
Oh.
So we're
Math.
Yeah, time for
it's math.
It's time for our new impromptu segment on Trademark's Trainwreck. Oh, I wish I had a jingle for this. It's time for Can Greymane Spot the Meth Addict?
Guess the drug.
I'm going to post a picture in our Discord server, which is probably visible on our YouTube version. Gray is going to determine whether or not this person uses meth.
Look at her eyes. I don't. I
yeah.
don't even have to go any further.
Definitely.
Math.
We will know by the end of the article if Greymane is correct. Let us see. Upon spotting a vehicle drifting between lanes on a St. Petersburg roadway around 2 a.m. on a Sunday, police conducted a traffic stop to, quote, check the well-being of the driver for sick, injured, or impaired. Let's see. When a sheriff's deputy approached driver Maria... Oh, dear Lord. Jurgilewicz? Jurgilewicz. I think that's how you say it. She's 45. Quote, the defendant had a distinct odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from her breath. Jurgilewicz, the cop added, quote, had difficulty following simple instructions, and her speech appeared to be slurred and mumbled. Asked about her erratic driving pattern, Jurgilewicz, quote, claimed it was due to her eating an egg roll while driving.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
While arrest affidavits make no mention of an egg roll or egg roll fragments being found in Jurgilewicz's auto, cops did seize several types of pills, including the opioid tramadol.
Tramadol.
Yep, tramadol.
It's a muscle
Opiate, huh?
relaxant. It's a muscle relaxant.
A
Yeah.
straw with white powdered residue was on the inside was found near the pills, an investigator noted. Jurgilewicz was arrested for possession of a controlled substance, a felony, as well as driving under the influence and possession of drugs without a prescription, both misdemeanors. The St. Petersburg resident was released the day on November 14th, from the county jail on her own recognizance. Her rap sheet includes convictions for disorderly conduct and violating probation.
Nice.
Nice.
2 pages. It says 2 pages there.
Oh yeah, shit. So it does.
Well, it's a straw with white powdered residue on the inside, so it could be either cocaine or she's snorting meth.
Or
I don't
it
even
could-
know if
or
you
she
snort
could just
meth.
be she could be turning the tramadol
Pills
into
into
powder.
That'd be incredibly dangerous.
Hmm.
Yes, it would.
I wouldn't
Tramadol.
know.
Tramadol is some weird stuff. If you're like having pain because your muscles are all cramped, okay,
Uh-huh.
tramadol is what they give you. Okay, provided it's of a high enough issue. Both Mrs. Greymane and I have had tramadol prescribed for us at different times, and for her
Fucks you
it knocks her cold. Okay,
Uh-huh.
for me it's just all of a sudden it's like, oh hey, I can get up and do things, and if I'm lucky, my logical brain, part of my brain goes, don't do that, because you'll be worse off when it wears off. And so it's a pretty strong substance depending on the prescription. But hey, white powdered residue. So
High powdered residue.
Yeah, I don't think it's coke because cocaine is the rich man's drug these days.
yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah. If this,
So I'm pretty sure this is a meth.
Yeah. Like if this woman goes, I was driving weird because I was eating egg rolls. Yeah, it's not going to be crack. That
Yes,
she's
yes.
eating.
That's not how
that was
that
probably
works.
that was probably a very accurate impersonation.
I mean, just look at her. A fucking egg roll, though, and they didn't find an egg roll. Here's a fun fact. If you want to blame the food you're eating while driving, blame the food you're actually eating, rather than the imaginary ones. Or here's... Or
In all fairness, she could have finished the egg roll. She could have finished it. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, it doesn't say, hey, there was Chinese food or wherever she got the egg rolls in the car. So,
I'm hungry for
Yeah,
egg
I
rolls.
mean, I've been on a long road trip where I've just like, okay, I'm going to stop at this fast food place and snack some finger foods, and I just like devoured that shit on the road.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I can't picture doing that anymore because the go-to places I go to for fast food are burgers. And honestly, I don't think one should eat a burger while they're driving. Too much shit in your hand, you know?
You have never lived until you have eaten a taco while driving a stick shift.
Oh, good lord.
Okay?
Hard shell.
I have done that. Yes, hard shell. I have done that.
Hard shell.
It's difficult.
Yeah, I
It
can
is
imagine
difficult.
so. It's that Robin Williams joke of
Not impossible, but
It's
it
a-
is difficult.
it's the old Robin Williams joke of a chameleon trying to jerk off while juggling. Too many balls in the air, if you catch my meaning.
Okay.
Just
then.
holy shit. That you're gonna have a crossed wire at some point and go, I can't do it.
I will admit that while I was learning that skill, there are quite a few times I ended up with tacos all over myself. So yes, it happens.
One of the cars that I had in high school was a 1983 Volkswagen Scirocco stick shift, and my friends and I would go to the ones who could fit in my car because it was really only a 2-seater with maybe a bucket seat in the back. They would be like, "Hey, let's go to Del Taco." I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's get some $1 hard shell tacos," and I would just be like, bag in my lap with like three beef tacos there, and I'd be like driving down the highway.
Ooh,
Nom nom nom.
nice. I have yet to try Del Taco. There's one that popped up in my neck of the woods finally, but it's so far out of the way, which is a shame.
I'll say this: do you like Taco Bell?
They're okay.
This is better.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost
Del Taco,
everything
I actually-
taco-wise is better than Taco
I
Bell.
actually think Del Taco has franchises in Mexico.
huh? That speaks volumes.
I would rather eat Jack in the Box tacos than Taco Bell tacos. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the order it would go for me.
That's how
So,
nasty Taco Bell is.
Yeah,
and I still eat Taco Bell. I just had it this evening, as a matter of fact.
yeah. I don't
Which
go.
means which means that we won't be staying past 8:30.
Yeah, I don't go to Taco Bell for the tacos. I go for the chalupas. Anyway, we're getting off subject just a little bit,
Just a little.
but that's fine because we're at the end of the softcore article anyway. So we're gonna go on a music break and talk about Del Taco and finger foods and how subpar Taco Bell is. So we'll be right back, folks, with the hardcore material. Strap your butts in. It's going to be an interesting night here on Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time. Except when there are too many balls in the air.
I think
Bring
the
Jack in the
only-
Box. Bring Jack in the Box back to the Midwest, damn it.
I think
Anyway.
the only good thing that Taco Bell has ever had that's been consistently good has been their cinnamon twists, because it's just fried dough dipped in cinnamon sugar.
Ah. We'll be right back, folks.
I have a song named the Double Dildo Song.
What?
Where did that come from?
That's a good question. Welcome
Yeah,
back
it's
to
your song-
Trademark's
it's your-
Trainwreck.
It's your.
It's
your
my
music
it's my
voice.
NAS. It's my NAS. Where did this song come from?
Good lord.
Okay.
Did I mention this show is featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time? Anyway.
That sounds like one of those backroom songs that like Voltaire made way back in the day.
I have another track named Draining the Lizard on a Dead Gay Wizard
What?
by a group called Nuclear Bubble Wrap.
Okay,
I-
then.
I had to have gotten these all in like one pack of files. Has to be how they ended up
I
here.
think you got them while you were drunk. Anyway,
That's entirely possible too. I drank a
Hi.
lot back then.
I think we're in the proper mindset for the hardcore material now.
Are we? Are we really?
Are we? Are
Well,
we
we'll
really?
find out in just a bit. As someone who has worked in the food industry for the last 7 years, I think, at this point.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that. There's no better way to summarize it as I'm sorry, because I have encountered some interesting scenarios, none of them as heated as some of the more famous incidents
But whenever I see something like this, I really sympathize with the workers who have to put up with entitled bullshit.
Oh, we have a Karen or something, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Viral Texas soup thrower to face charges.
Oh, heard about this bitch.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if you had. Okay.
I can actually tell you the whole story.
Well, allow me first, and you can fill in the blanks if I miss anything. This happened November 10th, 2021, or at least this article was written during that time. She minded that her soup was too hot, but now she's the one in hot water.
Good.
God damn it. What is wrong with these news coverage stories? You don't have to make everything a pun or a limerick for it to sell the paper.
You gotta hook 'em in. Anyway, a woman seen in a viral video throwing soup in a Texas restaurant worker's face will be held to account for her shocking meltdown. The irate customer faces criminal charges after a clip of her tossing a cup of broth at a hapless employee in Temple spread like wildfire on social media. The takeaway soup from a branch of the Mexican chain Sol de Jalisco became airborne at around 1:30 p.m. on Sunday after the woman complained it was so hot that it had melted the plastic lid of its container. Well, apparently not, considering that you did this.
I don't even want to click on that.
Yeah, it's a YouTube video. You can watch it right now, but the thumbnail alone speaks for itself. Like, it's frozen at the perfect moment of this woman just throwing the soup at this woman's face. Now, I must say before I continue, I have read to the end of this article, the soup was not hot when it was thrown. All right? So
I got an issue with the guy standing next to her. You know? You
Go
gotta be a dick to allow somebody to do that.
right?
So
I get the feeling that he is related to her in some fashion. Boyfriend, husband, brother, cousin, I don't know. I don't care.
points now.
Yeah. The woman, who was not identified, first phoned the restaurant to voice her displeasure over the excessive temperature of the spicy menudo soup. She then went there in person to confront the unfortunate victim, restaurant employee Janelle Brolin. The viral footage caught on a security camera shows the woman holding the soup container at the counter while arguing with Brolin. The deranged customer then suddenly loses it completely, throwing the entire contents of the takeaway cup in Brolin's face before quickly leaving the restaurant with the man who had been standing next to her. My first thought was, what just happened? Why? Like, why is this happening? And I realized I couldn't open my eyes, and I wiped away, and I realized I was like, wow, she really just threw that at me, Brolin told the local news. Describing the experience afterwards in a TikTok video, the server said that she luckily didn't suffer any burns to her face, as the soup was no longer that hot by the time it became a projectile. There you go. However, Brolin, who has worked in the restaurant industry for 6 years, likened the caustic sensation of having the spices of the Mexican soup in her eyes to getting pepper sprayed. Can confirm,
No.
I'm gonna say no.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay, it depends on how it was spiced.
Yeah, it depends on the spices, because I can confirm, having dealt with the fucking Chipotle spice for at least 5 of my 7 years in the restaurant industry, Chipotle spice can be used as a chemical weapon. Like, you can drop that on somebody and it will just incapacitate them for at least a minute, because that shit, once it gets in your eyes and nose, it's just like
it will burn and will hurt. But as somebody who's been on the receiving end of pepper ball dust, not all right.
Yeah, it obviously she's exaggerating a little bit, but it either way, both instances, it stings like a motherfucker.
Yeah, it hurts.
I will.
But you're not on the ground gasping for air.
I will say this. I have learned that I will always, for the rest of my days, wear gloves while cutting peppers.
Yes.
Okay, because I have made the inevitable mistake that any guy who cuts peppers does. Okay, because
Right in the eyes, eh?
well, no, it's worse than that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Yes. You stop to the peppers, you wipe your hands off. You don't wash your hands off, but you wipe your hands off, and then you go and use the bathroom.
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
And
Fire
all of a sudden, you are on the couch in pain, curled up in a ball because yes, it hurts that much. So
Yeah.
That's because you put capsaicin oil on your dick.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and you will never do it again, ever,
Never.
if you've ever done it once.
Nope. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Oh, here we go. The customer has been banned from the restaurant, and police confirm that charges are pending. We do not condone this type of behavior and hold our citizens to the highest standard, Temple Police Deputy Chief Alan Teston said in a statement. If a
You guys are
citizen...
in Texas, your citizens don't have many standards, Chief.
If a citizen believes they have received poor service, we advise them to remain civil until the problem is resolved. After that point, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can punch somebody in the face for all we care, as long as the problem has been resolved.
Yep, that's Texas for you.
Yeah. You can pull out your guns in celebration, as long as the problem has been resolved. Just don't cause any problems afterwards. Anyway. Texas stereotypes aside. Just, fucking
So-
entitled people. You're complaining because the soup melted the lid rather than burned your mouth. Number one.
Well, I mean,
I'm skeptical on that. Okay,
As
I am
am
too.
I. Like,
I mean, yes, okay, yes, you could get a cheap thermoplastic lid. Yes, it will warp. Okay, but it's not going to melt.
No.
Okay, you couldn't physically make the soup hot enough for it to do that unless you immersed it in the soup for a period of time, in which case the soup itself would be disgusting.
Yes.
It's just not hot enough.
Oh, soup has never been that hot. Ever. And even if it is, you know what you do? You fucking wait. Like, obviously you waited. Obviously, the employee's face would have been melting. And I would not be talking about this article.
Correct.
well, so a couple other things I did learn about this incident over the concerning days.
Alright.
Basically, like, it's a popular Texas restaurant chain, and it's got, like, this video went so viral that the restaurant is now seeing hundreds of thousands of customers on, like, a weekly basis, and they basically they've been, like, their most popular item is menudo soup, and they've been trying to, like, ask for this particular server and be like, "Are you okay?" So what basically happened was the woman came back in complaining about the hot stuff, and the woman, like, who got the soup thrown in her face basically said, like, "All right, we'll get you something else." But the woman just kept bitching, kept complaining. Like, she didn't give us any details of what she was saying or why she was so upset, but essentially, like, she just wasn't happy with the answer, so she threw the soup in her face.
She came in to complain, essentially. Like, she wasn't looking for an answer or a solution. She was just there to complain.
She wasn't looking for soup.
No, she wasn't looking
No
for
soup for
soup.
you.
She was looking for blood.
No soup for you.
No soup.
Pretty much.
I fucking hate these kind of people. Like, either eat your food, or if there's something wrong with your food, solve it like a fucking human being. Like, there's no reason to fucking yeet your food at the staff. No reason at all. You will find that employees and managers will fucking bend themselves backwards to fix your problem because their paychecks are dependent on it.
Unless they are, unless they work at a bar, then they basically tell you to go fuck off.
Yeah.
That happened to me. Like, I had ordered I had ordered a chai latte. This bar that also has a cafe in the back. I ordered a chai latte because I was like, I need to sober up a little bit. And it was so hot that and so overfilled that it spilled on me, and I got kind of burned. I went to complain. They're like, "And what do you want us to do about it?"
That there's the correct response. Well, maybe not, but
No, I said, how about another one that's not scalding hot, you dick? Then they threw me out.
oh. I'm at the
no idea why they did that. No.
I'm at the crossroads between that is the correct response and, man, they shouldn't have done that to you.
Little bit of
column A, a little bit of column B. Yeah.
Hey, I didn't throw it in their face.
No, of course not. That's the difference between you and this woman. You are a more sensible human being than this woman. You wanted a solution. It's just that, unfortunately, you were not given one. But this woman was not looking for a solution. She was just looking for vengeance for some reason. Just fucking hell.
He was just in a mood.
Yeah. Speaking of a woman in a mood. Oh, this is a return of a classic. This is such a classic. I love this story. I love these kind of stories.
I love them so much. So stop me if you've heard this one before. Woman used fake Rent-A-Hitman website to hire man to execute her husband.
I've actually heard of this.
This is the third time I've heard of this now.
Yeah, this is something that happens more frequently than you think. There is always some schmuck who goes on Google or some shit and goes Rent-A-Hitman or some crap, and they find a website that's not on the black market thank you, the dark web. They don't go on the dark web. They just go on Google and they look up a hitman. And they find it, and then, well, you'll see what happens in just a moment. This particular incident was happening on November 15th, 2021. A Michigan woman pleaded guilty to trying to hire a hitman to kill her ex-husband. This is Wendy Lynn Wayne, 52, who logged on to Rent-A-Hitman.com, which was actually a cybersecurity test site, hoping to hire somebody to kill her ex-husband because she claims he stole $20,000 from her. While Wayne used a cinnamon, yes, well done, Trademark, pseudonym. Fucking idiot, well done, Trademark. She used cinnamon with extra nutmeg. Anyway, future trade. Cut that out and save it as a blooper, please. While Wayne used a pseudonym when she filed a service request form to deal with an issue regarding her ex, she provided other personal information which allowed police to track her down. The owners of the site saw the request and contacted the Michigan State Police. An undercover police officer met with Wayne at a cafe, and she offered him $5,000 to kill her ex-husband. She gave the officer her husband's home and work address along with his work schedule. During a second meeting, Wayne gave the officer $200 down payment to cover his expenses. She was then taken into custody shortly after handing over the money.
Yeah, because money has to change hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wayne was charged with solicitation of murder and using a computer to commit a crime. She pleaded guilty to both charges as part of a plea deal that will see her in prison. See her prison sentence capped at 108 months. Obviously, she's not the first person to be busted using the fake site. Over the past several years, more than a dozen other people have been arrested after trying to hire a hitman using the site.
I actually want to imagine that the cops set this thing up and they're just this isn't gonna work, is it? Who in the IT department thought this was actually gonna do something? And they say, hey, we got a hit. It's holy shit, somebody fell for this?
Yeah, again, it's so amazing that someone will just go on Google and look for a hitman, and and then they'll find the site and not think it's sketchy as hell. Like, do people really think that a hitman, someone who is stereotypically depicted in movies as someone who hides and does things in secret and has payment done in unmarked bills or whatever, someone who stereotypically does everything they can to keep out of the limelight, do they really think that that the hitman has a Facebook page or a website or shit like that? Well, apparently they do, considering what I've just read.
The only caveat I'll give this, okay, is that there are times when women can't get away from their abusers. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the only excuse I would accept for somebody going out to like one of these sites. Other than that, it's just no. Come on.
Yeah, that doesn't apply to this situation because if you hadn't noticed, it's her ex-husband.
Correct.
Yeah, like, and all for $20,000. Now, I'm not going to say that amount is nothing to sneeze at. I'm not going to say that. $20,000 is a significant amount, if such a transgression ever occurred. But at the same time, like, I got nothing left. This is so fucking stupid. Just...
Yeah, if she's, I mean... people, there is no straight up website out there, okay? Direct website that's going to allow you to make a hit on somebody. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
No.
Okay?
Like, even on the dark web, I wouldn't know. I've never gone there, and I'm never gonna go there, ever. Even on the dark web, I imagine that shit is not as direct as this website will want you to believe.
Yes and no. That's not entirely true, because Silk Road, the original Silk Road, had advertisements for such things and had forums for such things, and it was straightforward. Okay.
Yeah, they straight up says like, yeah, hey, here's what you do. Well, you want some drugs? I got some drugs. Just give us the address, and somebody will be around later to drop it off.
And then a comment from our wonderful Mr. Stormy Boo. Wouldn't a hit cost more than that anyways? No, not necessarily. It depends.
Not necessarily. Like, they usually just want, like, a percentage.
Cover expenses.
Box of crack. It varies for each one.
Yeah.
So.
We wouldn't know. None of us have ever gone that business route before.
Off into my hand.
But yeah. That... just... the return of the classic. And now we're moving on to our final hardcore article for tonight.
Finally.
Yeah. Now I'm going to emphasize that everyone's fine for this article as well. Because, alright. We have, right here, a disproportionate response to an apparent transgression. And I'm going to say what that response was. And it's going to be interesting to hear your reaction to this, boys. Woman stabbed cousin when he asked her to return borrowed sex toy.
Oh, man.
We're back in Florida, aren't we?
Let me check. No, Kentucky woman. It's a Kentucky woman.
Even better. Bible Belt said that.
Okay, all right. First of all, I'm not gonna kink shame. I do know of people that trade their sex toys back and forth. They just make sure they're very clean, okay, between one use and the next. All right, because there's a cleaning process, there's a sterilization process, okay.
Yeah.
And yes, okay, but borrowed sex toy, woman stabbing her male cousin with it. What sex toy is it? I'm a little confused.
Stabbing her cousin with it, or stabbing?
No, over it. It is over it, but it's like
the weapon of choice was a kitchen knife.
Did he lend her his wife's toy?
Was it
Let's take a look.
Was it his toy? I'm not kink shaming here. Was it his toy?
Let's
okay,
take
I
a
hope
look.
he cleaned it off.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see if this article can tell us. A dispute over a borrowed sex toy ended with a Kentucky woman stabbing her male cousin with a kitchen knife. Police were dispatched late last month to a home in the city of Corbin after the occupant, Crystal Denham, called 911 to report that she had stabbed a relative. The 33-year-old Denham told officers that Michael Barton, quote, had come to her residence and they had gotten into an argument over a sex toy. This is according to a court citation. Specifically, Denham added she had borrowed it and he wanted it back. Sadly, the sex toy in question is not further described in the citation, which identifies Barton as Denham's cousin and neighbor. Denham claimed that after she told Barton to get off her property, he grabbed her by the elbow. Denham said she then used the kitchen knife in her hand to stab him, but said she didn't think she even drew blood. It's a knife! Barton, cops report, suffered 3 minor cuts on his arm and back. He confirmed that the pair had gotten into the argument over the sex toy, added that he wanted to leave when Denham began, quote, acting crazy. Denham was charged with felony assault, as well as menacing, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest, all of which are misdemeanors. She is locked up in the Whitley County Detention Center in advance of a December 20th appearance in District Court. So unfortunately, we do not have answers to all those questions that you asked us, Gray.
Alrighty.
Cause, yeah, I want to know too. Cause, like, borrowed sex toy. Again, not kink shaming, so long as you sanitize everything. Especially in the year of our Lord and Savior, 2021.
I am so glad Fanny is not here.
She would certainly have words, especially considering that she's from Georgia. So she would have words to say about her neighbors in Kentucky. Oh, good lord. I had relatives in Kentucky, actually. So that fucking...
So did I.
I think we all had at some point.
They moved.
Not surprising. Just... What... This is, again, one of those cases where we would like to have more context, please. Because, like, whose sex toy was it? Was it the man's? Was it his wife's? Does that man have a wife? Is it a husband, actually? Now that I think about it. We don't know. What? I would like to know, please. Sherly, you've been quiet. What do you think?
I honestly don't know what else to say.
The one time
this one does kind of just stop you in your tracks.
Yeah, because we don't have enough information. I would like to know more, please.
Yeah,
maybe...
it's just like there's nothing. Like, what do you do with this?
That's kind of why I kept it for the end, because it's like so out there. It's so out there, and the mugshot's great, because she just has this look on her face like, this is the hill I'm gonna die on, huh? All of this because of a sex toy. Was it worth it, lady? Was it worth it? Anyway, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. For the Trainwreck. Thank you everyone for coming on by and listening. Oh dear me. This is a night that has stopped us cold in our tracks, eh?
I'd say, I mean, it's happened before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this isn't the first time.
Sometimes we just have those articles where it's just like, how did we get here? The world is fucking nutty, isn't it?
Yep.
Anyway, that's it for this episode of the Trainwreck, everybody. Once again, thank you for listening. We are a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time.
much to the chagrin of the people that run the site.
Yeah. Oh, man. Our banner art was created by Court Awesome, and our theme song was created by Marivex. You can find their social media, our social media, and the links to all of the articles we discussed in the description below. If you're watching this on the YouTube version, I would very much appreciate it if you would like, comment, subscribe, and share this video around, and the channel in general. Get some traction going. But if you don't, no worries. We more do this for fun than for profit. That being said, if you would like to donate some money to us, not a lot, just something to show that you're listening out there. We got a coffee link somewhere down there in the description. Again, not necessary, but very much appreciated.
Buy the man a coffee. He puts a lot of work into these shows.
I try.
Maybe he does.
Yes, actually he does.
I try my best. Anyway, that's it for this episode. With that, my name is Trademark, and good night.